Hey everybody, it's David and Richard here for your Ask the Broker show, and today we're covering some terms you real estate agents, you realtors ought to know. And you'd be surprised with some of these, Richard, I think, because they would seem simple, seem easy, but we're getting questions about these in our office and beyond.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some of you guys don't know them, so we're going to cover them today and see how many of them you know exactly what they are and how to explain them to your clients. So we got 5 to 6 of these terms, so let's get right into it. What's the first one you want to talk about today?
Contingencies.
Ooh.
What are contingencies? Well, let me give you a brief explanation. A contingency is kind of a time period that someone has to perform.
Yeah.
So let me give you a couple of examples in real estate and in a contract. Well, you have this much time to bring in the buyer to bring in his deposit once you've gotten into escrow, which escrow could be another one.
Yeah.
Or you have this much time to do your inspections before you have to say, okay, everything's good, I'm ready to move forward. So that's a contingency, and it's usually connected with the time period.
Yeah.
So that's about it on contingencies. David, what's another one that we need to explain?
Yeah, so we're going to jump over from really the real estate side to a lending side. Yes, I'm not a lender, although I used to be. And we're going to talk about the APR. There's the mortgage rate, and then there's an APR rate. And there's a lot of confusion around that. And oftentimes you have a mortgage rate, let's say 7.5%. And the APR is 7.875, so it's generally a bit higher. So the APR, what is it? The APR is a way to look at what the interest rate is, as well as what the rate would be with all the closing costs and fees included into the rate. So, the title and escrow fees, any lender fees that they may have, if they were to bundle those into the rate, that would be the APR. So, in a simple way, if you're a buyer looking at exploring different lenders, and one APR is 7.875 and another one's 8.25, well, you may want to look closer at the 8.25 per lender because their rates and fees might be higher. So it's a good way to compare lenders in a nutshell, real generally, but that is the APR. What else you got?
So that's why the APR is higher, because it includes all the cost.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Closing costs.
Good one. Well, another one I have is, so let's connect it to contingencies. A 2-day notice to perform. You've probably heard that and said, what is that? Well, let's say at the end of the contingency, time's up, and here's the seller saying, okay, you need to release that contingency. Let's just say it's on inspections. But the buyer's agent isn't getting back with you because they don't want to do it yet. Well, then to take action on this, you have to issue them what's called a 2-day notice to perform. And then when you've given that to them, then when the 2 days is up, which the contract dictates those days, then you could take back control and say, well, if you don't release this contingency, we're going to cancel you. And that's one of the bigger ones. So a 2-day notice to perform is saying, perform because your time is up.
That's right.
So what's another one, David?
All right, we are jumping from residential over to mostly used on the commercial side of things, and that is the cap rate or the capitalization rate. Many real estate investors use this as a judge to determine if a purchase of an investment property is a good deal or not. It's often used on like multifamily properties, 4 units and higher, 15, 16, 20 units, whatever it may be. They're looking at what the cap rate is, the capitalization rate. So it's found by looking at the property's net operating expenses, not gross, but the NOI, the net operating income, divided by the price of the property. So you get the net operating income, the NOI, divide that by the property purchase price, and that gives you the cap rate. So,
question, what's kind of a decent cap rate?
I think most folks want to see between 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 10%. Right in that range is kind of the cap rate folks are looking for. Yeah.
So if it's a 1 or so, not very good.
Yeah, not very good.
If it's a 20, it's super good.
Well, 20 can be a little the higher it is, the more risky it could be too. So you want it
okay.
kind of in that range. Yeah.
Okay.
Any others?
Well, let's just let's each take this one more because that was just discussed with some of our agents recently.
Mm-hmm.
You have this many days to do something. Is it a calendar day or is it a business day? What's the difference? David, you want to tell us what that is, or?
Well, calendar days every day of the month, really, including weekends.
So if you're just counting the calendar, you just keep
Yeah.
counting.
And
Okay.
then the business days, obviously, Monday through Friday.
Oh, banker's hours.
Banker's hours, yeah, and excluding holidays and that sort of thing. So, when you're in contract on a residential agreement, be real sure on are the days in the contract referring to calendar days or business days, because
Yeah.
you got to know when those contingencies that Richard mentioned is up or other dates in the agreement as well.
Yeah, keep an eye on that, and hopefully it's calendar days. I think most of them are.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was some good points there.
All right. How many of those do you know off the back of your hand, right off the top of your head there? Hopefully you know them all. If not, hopefully this helped. And thanks so much for watching the Ask the Broker Show this Friday. We'll see you on the next one.